Hi viewers, L hope you are fine. The day my sister got her third car, I got a bus pass. I still remember standing in our driveway, holding that thin piece of plastic in my hand while my parents wrapped their arms around Vanessa like she had just won an award for saving the world. She deserves it, my mother said proudly. She's always been special. Special. That word followed my sister her entire life like a crown placed on her head at birth. And me? I was just there. My name is Elena, and growing up in my family felt like living in the shadow of someone who absorbed all the sunlight. Vanessa was beautiful, confident, loud, unforgettable. She walked into rooms and people noticed her instantly. I walked into rooms and people asked if I was her assistant. At least, that's how it felt. My parents adored her. Every achievement she made was celebrated with expensive dinners, gifts, photos posted everywhere. When she got accepted into college, my father cried. When I got accepted into the same university with a scholarship, my mother simply looked up from her phone and said, "That's nice." That moment stayed with me longer than I'd ever admit. I learned early that in my family, love came with conditions. Vanessa met those conditions naturally. I never did, so I stopped trying. Instead, I buried myself in studying. While Vanessa spent weekends at parties, I worked late-night shifts at a coffee shop near campus. I paid for my books myself. I reused old clothes. I skipped meals sometimes just to afford printing fees. And still, no one noticed. But what hurt the most wasn't the money. It was the silence. No one asked if I was tired. No one asked if I needed help. No one even asked if I was happy. Until one night changed everything. It was during my final year at university. I came home earlier than usual because my shift had been cancelled. The house was quiet except for voices coming from the dining room. I wasn't trying to listen. But then I heard my name. "She'll never amount to Vanessa," my father said coldly. I froze. My mother sighed. "Elena is practical. Vanessa is extraordinary. There's a difference." Practical, like I was some household appliance. Then Vanessa laughed softly. "Honestly, Elena should just be grateful we let her stay here while studying." That sentence shattered something inside me, not because strangers said it, because my own family did. I stood there silently while tears burned my eyes. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I had spent my entire life begging for love from people who had already decided I didn't deserve it. That night, I packed a bag. Not dramatically, not angrily, quietly, like someone leaving a place they no longer belonged. But what I didn't know that night was that graduation day would become the day every secret, every lie, and every cruel decision finally came crashing down. And the same family who ignored me for years would soon stand in front of everyone completely exposed. Mid-conflict and betrayal, after leaving home, I moved into a tiny apartment barely bigger than a storage room. The ceiling leaked when it rained, the heater worked only when it wanted to. And the neighbors argued loud enough to wake the entire building. But for the first time in my life, I could breathe. No comparisons, no insults hidden inside fake compliments, no reminders that I would never be enough. I worked harder than ever. Morning classes, afternoon internships, night shifts at the cafe. Some nights I slept only 3 hours. But exhaustion felt better than rejection. Meanwhile, Vanessa continued living like the center of the universe. My parents paid her rent, her shopping bills, even funded her social media lifestyle. Every family post online looked perfect. Proud parents, our shining daughter, our future star. And me? I disappeared from every photo like I never existed. At first, it hurt. Then slowly, it became fuel. I stopped chasing their approval and started building something for myself. During my final semester, I joined a research project under one of the most respected professors at our university. I worked endlessly on it, often staying in the lab until sunrise. While others wanted recognition, I just wanted to prove, to myself, that I mattered. And eventually, someone noticed. Professor Harris called me into his office one afternoon. I thought I had made a mistake. Instead, he smiled. "Elena," he said, "your work is exceptional." I stared at him because I genuinely didn't know how to respond to praise anymore. Then he handed me a letter. I opened it with shaking hands. It was an offer for a fully funded graduate fellowship overseas. For a moment, the world went silent. After years of feeling invisible, someone had finally seen me. I should have been happy, but deep inside, I was terrified. Because I already knew what my family would do. And I was right. The moment they found out, suddenly I existed again. My mother called me for the first time in months. "Elena, why didn't you tell us?" she asked brightly, like we were close. Vanessa suddenly commented hearts under my photos online. Even my father invited me to dinner. It felt strange, watching people pretend to value me only after someone else confirmed my worth. But the real betrayal came days before graduation. I received an email from the university administration saying there was an issue with my final academic clearance. According to their records, part of my research submission had been reported as duplicated material. My heart stopped. It made no sense. I rushed to campus in panic. Weeks of investigation followed. Meetings, reviews, interviews. And then I discovered the truth. Someone had accessed my research files using a shared family laptop months earlier. Someone had copied sections and uploaded them online anonymously. Someone had tried to destroy everything I worked for. And there was only one person who had access. Vanessa. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it immediately. She just crossed her arms and looked at me with that familiar expression. The one that always said she believed she was untouchable. "You were finally getting attention," she said coldly. "You were acting like you mattered more than me." I felt physically sick. "You tried to ruin my future?" She rolled her eyes. "Oh please, Elena, you always survive somehow." That was the moment I stopped seeing her as my sister. And started seeing her for what she truly was. Someone who needed me beneath her in order to feel powerful. But what Vanessa didn't realize was that the university had already uncovered everything. Every login, every upload, every deleted file, and graduation day was only hours away. Ending, revenge, climax and moral. Graduation morning arrived bright and beautiful. Families filled the auditorium with flowers, cameras, and proud smiles. My parents sat in the front row beside Vanessa, looking polished and perfect like always. But beneath their confidence, everything was about to fall apart. I sat quietly among the graduates, my hands trembling under my gown. Part of me still couldn't believe I had survived the last few weeks. The university cleared my name completely after confirming the sabotage. Not only that, they decided to make an example out of what happened. Halfway through the ceremony, the dean stepped onto the stage again unexpectedly. The room grew quiet. "There is one more matter we must address before closing today," he announced. I felt Vanessa stiffen in the audience. The dean explained that a student investigation uncovered deliberate academic sabotage against one of the university's top researchers. Murmurs spread instantly across the room. Then he said my name. For the first time in my life, thousands of people turned toward me not with pity, but respect. The dean continued speaking about resilience, integrity, and perseverance. Then he announced that despite the attack against my work, I had graduated with highest honors and received the International Fellowship. The auditorium erupted into applause. I looked toward my family. My mother's face had gone pale. My father stared at Vanessa in disbelief. And Vanessa, she looked terrified. Then came the final blow. The dean confirmed the individual responsible for the sabotage had been permanently banned from future academic partnerships with the university. Vanessa's name wasn't spoken publicly, but everyone around them already knew. People whispered, some stared, others slowly moved away from my family's row. For once in her life, Vanessa couldn't charm her way out of consequences. After the ceremony ended, my parents rushed toward me. "Elena, please," my mother whispered desperately. "We can explain." "Explain what? Years of neglect? Humiliation? Cruelty disguised as favoritism?" I looked at them calmly. And that calmness hurt them more than anger ever could. "I spent my whole life trying to earn your love," I said quietly. "But now I realize something, real love doesn't have to be earned." My father lowered his eyes. Vanessa stood behind them silently, her perfect image finally shattered. And strangely, I felt nothing. No triumph, no hatred, no revenge, just peace. Because the greatest revenge wasn't destroying them. It was surviving them. A month later, I left for my fellowship overseas. New country, new life, new beginning. And for the first time ever, I wasn't someone's forgotten sister. I was simply Elena, a woman who rebuilt herself from rejection. And if there's one thing I learned from all of it, it's this. Sometimes the people who give you the least love will teach you the most about your own worth. And sometimes, the graduation stage isn't where your story ends. It's where your real life finally begins.